Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to AER Memories of Old. So we did the first temple and therefore I want to just make sure I'm flying in the general right direction. Yep. So we did the first temple, we need to, I think, fly back to where we're supposed to go. Trying to find a place where I could find a wind stream that would speed this up a little bit, but yeah, I think that's good enough. Alright, so maybe we can do something now, maybe we can't. Let's see, this part. This must be the lighthouse. It doesn't seem to do anything right now. I should come back here later. So we can't do anything with the lighthouse yet, which means we need to, let's go talk to people and see if they can talk about the second temple. Hello, Ak. If you're looking for Midvin, he is in the cave here in the village, probably studying some tablets. But what about a story? Maybe about how I, Diana, met? No. One day I followed a honey-colored doe across the island in the east. The most beautiful doe I had ever seen. Suddenly I came up to a bird shrine. There she was standing next to it. She smiled at me and my heart was her. Inia, not the doe, dummy. It was the first time I visited the land of the gods, and I chose to take care of its lands. I was chosen to take care of its lands while she was to inherit the duties for Carrot's shrine. Pity the shrine caved in. For what Diana said, it might not be possible to rebuild it. I'll try at least. Anyhow, where are you off to now? Maybe to the east is next in line for a visit. It's a bit wilder than the western islands, and there are many ruins from the time of the ancients there. I think the most impressive place is Leaflaw's Grove, home of the Leaflaw spirit doe of the land of gods. In the grove grows a most remarkable giant tree, like a storm cloud, that one. Leaflaw hasn't been seen in ages, but it's said she saved the tree from the Great Divide. The ancients built some kind of altar near the tree. So far, I haven't found out what it does. Might be worth taking a look. So that kind of gives us an idea of what we're going to do.
Hey.
Welcome back again, Ak. I hope your travels are easy on you. Erin is over her head in ears with joy that a real bird shifter came to visit. To the point where I'm a bit worried that she'll run off somewhere on one of her expeditions. Once in the north, we stopped for a short rest by the hot springs. She was gone in a heartbeat. We looked all over. The storm of the Howling Peaks was less intense back then, but it was still very cold. We found the cave nearby and went to see if she had gone there. She has a certain affinity for hidden places. As it turned out, the spirit bear of the north had just recently moved there. Aaron sat on his back, talking about everything between sun and moon. Should I be proud or worried? Well, I always ran away at her age, so who am I to judge? I'm getting all nostalgic here. Pilgrimage, let's see. So the next step is usually the archives, the temple to the east. The ancient built the monuments and cities there, so then more so than the west or in the north. Sean has been there frequently, I know. It's said that the signs of the Great Divide were early spotted in the east. Much of the ruins have been reclaimed by the land, but just continue to the eastern steps and it shouldn't be too hard to find. So I kind of wonder if there's kind of a sub game here where I'm supposed to find their daughter hiding somewhere. Like she could be anywhere on this island. She could be hiding kinda anywhere. And I guess we're supposed to go in the caves and talk to Midman. See, I wouldn't be surprised if she was hiding in this wheat, but I'm not really sure where we would be able to find her if she was hiding in there. Grow home once you beat the game. We'll just go in this cave, let you still kind of wander around the world and get all the collectibles. And since this game is theoretically short for most people, not me who's taking their time, certainly, I wouldn't be surprised if there are hidden things to find that I'll be able to do it. And only the temples are going to be the places where you can only enter once. Seems like these are new, these hanging glowing things, but maybe they aren't. Maybe I just never looked up. Let's talk to him. Welcome back, Hawk. Come look at this. I think I know what you found. The keys to the caretaker. They are described as glowing symbols. So it warped into the lantern, you say. Spectacular. It pains me that I can't go with you, but my back would pain me more. What, you actually use the key? It makes sense they would open the temples, I suppose. But I think my apprentice would converse. But to think my apprentice would converse with the caretakers in person. We all believe the gods were either in eternal slumber or perished. Our prayers have always been to the spirits of the skies and lands, and to our ancestors. I have a bad feeling, child, but if one was still slumbering, you should search for other caretakers. Questions need answers, before it's too late. It seems big changes are coming to our world, and I see you as my own daughter, Ak. Be careful out there. Promise me as much. What's weird is her name is Ak, but the name of the game is AER. So, yeah, unless he's gonna teach you how to read these tablets. And I don't know why she can't really read these tablets when it looks like it's the exact same language. She's seems more than capable of reading elsewhere. That's questionable. You should have made 2 languages and 2 sets of random symbols. One with like curves would have been really nice. Loops and curves. Okay. Here's something. A boat. This still is really hard to control. And there's no way to adjust the sensitivity, right? Like gameplay, horizontal sensitivity in air. Let's bring it down to 2 and see if that works a little bit better. Yeah, I feel like 2 is better than 3. You get a little bit more of a case of being able to just nudge your way along. kind of don't know if it's worth the effort to fly around, though, looking for their child. Even if she does have something to say. There is a problem certainly with the trees too. Like the trees are blocking your view. Alright. So my attempt here was to jump on the boat, and twice I failed. And it just is not worth the effort. I was still very much running into a problem of having to remember to switch sides, switch buttons, because the X button flaps but the A transforms. So to the east we go. This was... They said that there was a mechanism and altar at the Great Tree. Is it this? Because... If it's like the previous temple, we're gonna have to line up a couple of things first. And it's easier to transform the fly up a mountain than it is to do anything else. So I assume that's the big tree. Let's go to this. Maybe there's another altar around this big tree. And honestly, I don't feel a big difference on the ground and flying. Sure, it might be considered a little bit... There we go. Seems real. We found it. What's this? A doe. So there's some more does that are running around in this area. And so I guess we'll probably see the great doe when we open this altar. Yeah, and you can't use it without the lantern now. It's interesting. Alright. That opened 3 things. So that gives us a slight idea what we need to do. I'm not sure that it gives me enough of an idea. Fly upward. So there's one over in that direction. The thing I'm not seeing is any kind of like projector or beam of light. Man, this is slow, but if I was to flap, I feel like I'd screw up. Yeah, see? Maybe I need to turn the sensitivity up, but I don't think so. think that's the goal. Okay. So do we have a time limit, or is this straight just fly through all three of them? Doesn't that really imply that you would have to have had, you would have had to have been a shifter? Here's Leafa's Grove. I was getting the feeling that there would have been other shifters. It looks like the last one is over here. This game is still really giving some stupidly easy puzzles. Okay, so we've hit all three of them. That's all that was needed. There's a little island down there. Come on, nope. So it now feels like we're just going to activate this again and see what happens. Well, that had more things that you needed to interact with. That was probably slightly easier than unlocking the first temple. And I guess thematically that means that there are either 3 or 4 elements in this next temple, so possibly 3 or 4 sections, subsections, where there were only 2 sections in the first game. We're still getting these little fireflies, and now we're in a tree with yellow things. I'm starting to think that these might be some kind of New Game Plus thing, or very late game items. I just kind of want to look around here, because it seems like you could have fallen and dropped on whatever this is supposed to be. Is this rocks, or leaves, or grass, or who knows what? Yep, seems like you could have fallen down and seen absolutely nothing. With the ability to fly, and with the kind of obvious, there's something moving over there, the kind of obvious idea that when you fall down in the sky you should turn into a bird automatically and fly back up, or you should just respawn a lot faster at the bird checkpoints in the overworld. With those concepts done more solidly, I would probably have the temples floating in the air with a bunch of like downdrafts, so you couldn't fly into them into specific areas and sequence break, but you still wouldn't end up doing so much platforming alone. It still doesn't make a lot of sense that you can't transform. It seems like the character is simply refusing to transform into a bird in these sections. So we're definitely getting some kind of shifting of some kind of dark energy. it's the spirit animal, the doe. Is that you, Kara? No, that can't be right. Who are you? I need to get out. It says I need to get period out, period. I'm weak. It's the rock. It's not of this world. The rift, further down in the cavern. Close it. So that's all they're going to say for now. Looks like we've got some shiny new flowers. This might not be the temple, so this might be pretty short. Again, this also feels like a point where you could easily have had a boss fight of any size. Or, you know, it would be annoying to a lot of players, but if the flying was a little bit tighter, some race mechanics wouldn't be terrible. Flying around, that gets into a kind of Pilot Wings feeling. And while I would love to play a Pilot Wings game on PC or a clone of it, since it's a Nintendo property, I believe, or at least licensed by Nintendo, it may be made by Rare, that kind of gets in the way too for a lot of people. I could see a lot of people having trouble doing any kind of races. I guess even though I shift into a bird, I don't eat fish or anything like that. Our jump is so floaty that I really don't know if I couldn't have just jumped to a much higher platform to start with, but it seems kind of obvious that this is the way they wanted this to go. Barely made that. Again, the jump is so floaty that I'm not sure I really need to even go the middle route. I guess I did. And what is this over here? There's these red lights. So the rift was in the sky. I didn't even see it. Interesting. I didn't even look up there. So at some point, these buildings meant something and did something. Also stopped that from doing anything, and it also stopped the music from playing, which this is kind of the first instance of that happening again. And the lantern goes away just automatically, I guess, when you take fall damage. Which I wouldn't have programmed it to do that. I would have made it, since it seems like you keep the lantern out the whole time in the gameplay anyways, I would have just made it always stay out unless somebody actually presses a button to put it away. And then maybe hide some things in the darkness that people wouldn't realize were there until very late into the game. You did it. I feel much better already. Thank you. I was beginning to fear a fate where I would fade away. Kuroku's men took hold of my home. They wanted the magic of this place. I fought for so long, but I am just one, and they were so many. Is Kuroku the Void, or is Kuroku the God King, or like, who is he? Is he a new character? At least I kept the most important secret. It is the one you are looking for too, isn't it? I have what you need. Here, take the key. It's my task to protect it, and so I have. Thanks again, young one. I'll leave the rest to you now. So we now have a V-shaped key. Ironic here. I don't know if there was something subconscious to this or if this is just a odd coincidence. The first key was a 3 straight lines with the middle line in the middle longer that somewhat looked like a middle finger. And now we have the V, which is the British shape of the middle finger. So this game, I think, unconsciously keeps giving me the finger. Thanks again, young one. I don't think that was intentional. So we now have 2 keys, but we don't have any new abilities. And that just still kind of sucks. Like, the B button still does not do anything. And I guess we can leave these areas because they're super simplistic, and maybe we'll be able to come back later. Ah, the fox character. Ah, my friend, what leads a bird to the east? And a visit Leafla on top of that. Oh, so she held the key all this time. Use it where it belongs, further east and a dash north. Just close to my home, to be true. But answer me this, how come temples lead downwards when people look up to the sky for answers? It has eluded me for centuries, but that's fine. Humans are special creatures, to say the least. And we can't have any other conversation with him. I feel like there's a chance that the fox here is the bad guy, and he had some kind of plan from the beginning, but it's very possible that that's not the case. Like, everything else about this game has been really, really simplistic, so I wouldn't be surprised if the story is pretty simplistic too. There definitely is a problem here because I'm not interacting with most of these islands. Like, honestly, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 important islands, 6 important islands we've seen. What happens if I fly this way, by the way? Because I'm heading into the edge. The camera changed. This is a good experiment. Like, I'm far, far past where the map is. This is like a good experiment to see what it's gonna do. If I was creating this game, I would have it so either the clouds turn you around and you run into a wall of clouds, or the currents turn you around and you run into a whole current. It might be that we just hit a wall here and we're actually stationary. Nope. Instead, we fast traveled to a place we hadn't even discovered yet. Well, I guess that's a speed running strat. Just die and you'll reach your goal faster. Let's see, we've got a bunch of people standing around. Like, I don't know why people would want to stand around chirping birds. Like, put that bird sanctuary somewhere else. These guys have swords. The God King demands changes. Let's see what it reads. By real decree of the God King Kuroku, King of Kings and God of Gods, all must bow to him, the only God. His and his alone are all the lands of the east, the lands of the gods. Bend the knee and be spared. Resist and see the last of your days. Such is the will of God King Kuroku, now and forever, written in the 10th year of Haran in his great city of On. You can see we're seeing a much more city-like environment. So guess we should, in the next recording, fly around this area, but I suspect the next bit of the temple is actually a little bit to the north, and then somewhere above the north of the crater spire is probably the beginnings of a key, maybe not. It's an odd map, certainly. Clearly it feels like things were just cut out and missing, because this could have just been a big square if it wasn't for the fact that there's a significant amount of stuff missing in the west and a significant amount of stuff missing in the northeast. Although, to be fair, you could have taken what was at the north and moved it downward and get a lot squarer. So you could have filled out this map to be more of a regular square map. So we got the key, though. That's, I guess, what we needed to do for step 1. It's been another 30 minutes. That's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wish list. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.